What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing a video on the same line as what I do with the sinks, but this one's going to be more in depth. We're going to cover things that starts from the very beginning. We're going to go from cleaning it, putting primer on it, and getting it ready to epoxy. I've had a bunch of people ask me if I had any videos showing the process, how I prep my sinks for getting them ready to epoxy, and I don't. I thought to myself that was killing time, but unfortunately, or I guess it ain't. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out with TSP, trisodium phosphate. We're going to mix this with mix a little bit of this with some warm water, and we're going to clean the surface of the sink real good. Once you clean it with your trisodium phosphate, you want to look the sink over really well and make sure there's no, excuse me, I got cars riding by, sorry about the noise. Now if the wind gets too much, I'll have to figure something else out. Anyway, once you clean it with a trisodium phosphate, look over your sink really well and make sure there's no silicone on it nowhere or anything like that that's going to inhibit the epoxy from sticking. So that's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and mix this up, show you how I mix it up and everything, and we'll clean the sink real quick, but I got to turn the camera around, so hold on just a second. Okay guys, the first thing you're going to want to do is put on some gloves. Just regular old latex gloves will work. Would help if I put it on the right way, wouldn't it? Again, I apologize for the wind if it's messing the video up. Okay, find you something to put you some hot water in. I just found an old plastic pail. Take your trisodium phosphate. Oh, sprinkle about 2 tablespoons into a quarter gallon of water. I'm going to use a sponge. I'm just going to stir it around. Trisodium phosphates, it's a really good degreaser. If you have any silicone, or if you find any silicone on it, you might have to get some acetone and get the silicone off. You can buy that trisodium phosphate at Home Depot, Lowe's. I think you can even get it at Walmart. And again, I've had several people ask me on different videos if I have a video showing the whole process from preparing the sink to installing it. And I always thought that would be a waste of time showing, well, didn't think it would be a waste of time. I just didn't think it would keep somebody's attention very much if I was cleaning a sink. But apparently everybody wants to see this. It looks like I'm going to have to get the acetone because I have a little bit of silicone on here. So you guys give me just a minute. Okay, I'm out of shop rags, but regular paper towels work. I'm almost out of acetone too. Ooh, spill it everywhere. That's one way to conserve it, ain't it? This acetone should eat everything off of here. Again, I apologize for the background noise. I'm outside my shop doing this because such a nice day outside, I'm going to be spraying, and I don't want everything in my shop getting sticky. Now once I get this cleaned, I'm going to go over it with 220 grit sandpaper just to make sure there's no burrs or anything like that on it. And then I'm going to clean it again, or not clean it but wipe it down real well. Around these holes you want to make sure you get around them really well, because usually there's silicone on them. Okay, let's get it sandpaper. I'm just using a regular plain sheet of 220 grit fine finish sandpaper. I'm just going to give it a light scuffing. Again, the reason I do this is to make sure there's no burrs or anything like that sticking up anywhere on the sink, like right there. After all, you do want a good finish. You wouldn't be wasting the money doing this if you didn't want it to look good. Okay. That's why you should wear gloves. I will use the same paper towels, put a little more of acetone on it, and I'll just give it a good wipe down now. First time I've done a sink this shape. I'm anxious to see what it looks like once it's done. It's a small sink too, it's not very big, it's for a little girl. Well, a little girl and her brother. They told me I could pick the colors. I don't like it when people say you can pick the colors, just make it pretty, because then that gives me the burden of trying to figure out what color to do it in, and I don't like that decision. Sometimes I do. You want to make sure you wipe it good to get all that dust off. Okay, let me get this camera back up here for a minute. Sorry about that. Give me just a minute. Gotta make sure it was really clean. Now, what I do, where's my bonding primer? Thought I brought my bonding primer out here. I guess I didn't. Anyway, the way I spray my sinks with bonding primer, I don't roll it on, I don't brush it on, I spray it on. Let me go get my bonding primer and we'll get set up to do that. Okay, I went in and dadgummit, I forgot my bonding primer. But I'm going to use this to agitate my bonding primer. Let me go get my bonding primer real quick. Okay guys, I got it. I use Valspar bonding primer. I love it. It's a good price for the gallon. Home Depot, most of them, all of Lowe's that I found, will not tint this bonding primer. The Home Depot that is a couple miles from my house, I know the guy that works in the paint department, he tints it for me. Now, as far as my sprayer goes, all of the, okay, I'm sorry, trying to film this by myself and I need both hands. Anyway, as far as my sprayer, you don't have to do this. I use this food grade lubricant. I don't know if it'll focus. I use this to coat everything the paint comes in contact with. You don't have to do that. I do it. It just makes for easier cleanup. I mean, I coat everything with it. Every little teeny piece that comes in contact with the paint. Anyway, I'm sorry, like I was saying, every little teeny piece that goes on this sprayer, I put a light film of that lubricant on it. It just helps with cleanup. It's just a personal preference thing. You don't have to do it. Again, I apologize if the wind is causing the audio to get messed up. I figured I would use my time wisely, since I got a slack day today, so might as well make a video. I want this channel to go somewhere. That's what I got to keep doing. Making videos, which I love to do. Alright, let me get the camera pointed down here for you guys. When you're running paint or anything like that out of your sprayer, this right here, I would highly, highly recommend it. It'll catch anything that's in this can and keep it from going into your sprayer and clogging it up. You don't want that to happen, not in the middle of spraying anyway. Well, you really don't want it to happen, period. So I would highly, highly recommend it. There we go, just like that. That'll catch anything that goes or tries to go in there. Let's see how much you got. Oh no, that's nowhere near enough. That should be. I apologize for the video angle. Like I said, I'm doing this all myself. My son's not here to help me, so I have to use my three-legged son. His name is Tripod. I'm hoping I can spray this without the air compressor kicking on, because it's right behind my garage door right here, and I really don't want it coming on while I'm doing this. You really can't see it. I think it's good enough to start spraying the sink with. Again, like I said, if the compressor kicks on, I truly apologize for that. I'm hoping it don't take a lot of air to run this. Sorry about making you guys dizzy. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to put you back up on the tripod that way. Once you leave this video and go to the store, you don't get pulled over for a DUI for being all dizzy. Okay. I'll try to zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay. You want to put light coats on. You don't have to put it all on at once. There goes the compressor. Okay, this is what it looks like once it's done. Primed anyway. You can see it has a little bit of a texture look to it. That's fine, that doesn't hurt anything. Actually, it helps a little bit. It gives the epoxy something to bite to. But once this dries, I'm going to lightly go over it with 220 grit sandpaper. Alright guys, here's this sink. The primer's dried. I'm going to take a sandpaper and 220 grit sandpaper and lightly sand it. Trying to do this with one hand. I don't know if you can see that or not. You see, that's what you're trying to knock off. Them little raised areas right there. You don't want that to interfere with your epoxy flow. And it don't take much to knock them down. So you can still see them right there, but that is completely smooth. And if you burn through your primer a little bit like that, that's not going to hurt nothing. Just for those of you that might have noticed that. Because I know that some of you will. It's a little chilly out here today. A little chillier than I would like for it to be. I'll tell you what, let me get my tripod and set this up real quick. Let me pause this for a minute. Hey guys, we're back. We're going to be finishing up this sink pour today. I'm still undecided on the colors I'm going to use, but if you guys all know me, you know I wait to the last minute. If I get the chance to choose the colors, you know I wait to the last minute to pick the colors. I don't know why I procrastinate like that, but I do. Anyway, I'm using a new product. It's let me get it and show you. Anyway, I'm using a new product, and it is made by Bond. It's they have bar and tabletop epoxy. They have deep pour epoxy. They have all the tools you need, mixing cups. They have pig colored powdered pigments. They have inks, alcohol inks. This is where their alcohol inks come in. It's a little teeny, well, it's not teeny, but, and it's good. It don't take but a couple drops to completely color mixing cup of epoxy. Also, there's going to be, right now as it stands, I have an Amazon link for their product in the description below. There's going to be a new link that's going to take you straight to their website, and you get a better price if you go straight to their website, even better than Amazon. Also, I'm going to give you guys a discount code to use to get an additional 10% off of anything you purchase from their website. That link is going to replace the Amazon link in the description. They have t-shirts. This is, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is one of them. Nice t-shirts. Anyway, the link that is going to be in the description for their website, it is an affiliate link. So if you guys purchase something through that link, they give me a little kickback helping me out, and it doesn't cost you guys anything extra. Like I said, also I'm going to include a discount code for you guys to get an additional 10% off your purchase of however much you want to spend. Okay guys, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but their mixing cups are reusable. They're not like the cups you get from Home Depot. All you can do is just squeeze it like that and it pops right out like another cup. Anyway, I'm going to get this epoxy mixed up and we're going to get to it. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. So, let me turn this around. Okay, let's do 13, 26. That was a hardener. I like putting the epoxy itself, or the resin, in second because it's thicker and it won't stick to the sides as much if you put it in second. I know I'm using a little bit more epoxy than I should, but I'm going to make sure I have enough epoxy. And we'll need gloves for this, so we don't need them, but I like to wear them. So let me go get a pair of gloves. Okay, I got my gloves. Get them on. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but my neighbor, they have birds over there, and them things will drive you crazy, chirping all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all animals, birds included, but I don't like to hear them chirp all the time. Alright, now, if you're going to be using a mixing paddle to mix your epoxy, make sure you hold on to this container because that epoxy's thick, and when this paddle grabs it and it starts spinning, it's going to grab this cup as well and try to spin it, and it will sling epoxy everywhere if you don't hold on to it. With the paddle, you want to mix it for about 2 minutes. If you're mixing with a stir stick, mix it for 5 to 7 minutes. Let me mix this up real quick, then I'll put my color in. I like to scrape the sides of the container with a paint stick to get all that unmixed epoxy that's on there out into the mass to where I can get it mixed up. That way we don't have no sticky spots. Because there's nothing worse than finishing or doing your project and having a bunch of unmixed epoxy, aka sticky spots, in your product. So let me go get a brush real quick and we'll pour this. Okay, I don't have a good brush. I'm just going to use a cheap one. And there's nothing wrong with using a cheap brush. Just make sure you check for bristles whenever you get done using it. Give it one final scrape. Then I'll put the paddle back in and give it a good mixing. And we'll pour this thing. Let's see, we're going to be using that Black Beauty dye from Wise Bond. Anyway, let's get that mixed up. Set that to the side. Let's take our stir stick, scrape the sides one more time to get that clear epoxy that didn't get mixed up in the bunch. Scrape the bottom. I'm still, believe it or not, undecided on the colors I want to use. I guess I'm just going to pick them out real quick. I know I'm going to use white. I'm going to use a little bit of this gloss almond. And I'm going to use some of this gloss coral. Let me see, is there any other color? I think there is. And I might put some of this French lilac in it. So let's do this. Alright, you guys that know me know I pour my sinks in 2 pours. I pour the main body of the sink first, and then the backsplash will be a second pour, which I will record that, and probably just make that its own separate video, just for the sake of this video. Also, I will be pouring a clear coat on this and recording that as well, which I usually don't do, but I'm going to. Anyway, let's get this out. Now this sink, it's an odd shape, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to look, to be honest with you. I really don't know. We're going to find out together. And there's a lot of the epoxy is going to go down the drain, so I mean there's really, unless you got, now you can catch it, that's not deep enough. If you got something to stick under there, maybe like another cup, you can catch it. If you don't get it all over you in the process. Anyway, let me prime my brush. Get this epoxy everywhere on the sink. Make sure, I mean, you can try to, but you're wasting your time. Try to save this epoxy that's going down the drain. Main thing is getting your sides coated real well. want them coated real well so they'll be nice and smooth. Now, the surface around your project is clean. All this is dripping off down here, well, that's a reservoir that you can use. It comes in handy, believe it or not. Like I said, you can try to save the epoxy, but really you're just wasting time because you're not going to stop it from going down the drain. Just ain't going to happen. But you can catch it and use it on something else if you got a, say, a sample board or something like that ready. I'm going to hit this with a torch real quick just to pop some bubbles. Normally I would spray my spray paint straight on there, but I don't know if I'm going to do that this time. I think I'm just going to spray it on the paint stick. And put it in like that. Now you don't have to get every bit of the surface covered with paint. That's just, I mean, not necessary. You can just leave some places open, put a little more in some other places and not so much in other places. See what I'm getting at? But you want to make sure you put enough on there to where it'll run over the side and cut the side as well. Get some down in there. You gotta excuse the noise from the traffic. Okay, let's put a little lilac in there. It's a pretty color. I don't want to put quite as much lilac as I have white. Now I am going to hit this with a heat gun once I get all my color on there to meld all the colors the way that I want them. Like I said, you don't have to put color everywhere on the sink. Some of it can be left as the base color. That keeps it natural looking. Now I'm also going to put a touch of this coral in there. And I have residual color left over on my stick, so I'll just let that coat some of it. And get a little bit down here. You ain't got to be perfect or anything like that when you're adding this color, because the heat gun is going to melt it the way you want it. So keep that in mind. When you're trying to get it perfect, you don't have to do that. All right, now you want to do is get color on there. I'll put a little more lilac right here. And maybe a touch bit more coral right here. Okay, let's put the heat gun to it. You don't want to forget to take your gloves off before you grab your heat gun, so you don't get epoxy all over it. Then you'll have a sticky heat gun. And also, before you turn this on, point it away from your project. That way, no dust or nothing blows on your project. Now I'm just trying to meld my colors to make it look natural. Had a little dry spot right there. Have another one right there. Okay, let's get the camera down and take a look at it. Okay guys, here it is. This camera does these colors no justice at all. That coral is not showing up the way it should. Never done a sink shaped like this before. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I apologize for the glare from that light up above me. As soon as my shed, well, it is a shed, but I converted it to a workshop. It's 16 by 20 in size. As soon as it gets available, I will be back in there and won't have to worry about that glare. And you can see I have good color on my sides. Let me see if I can get you without that glare. Let's see if I can get some detail. Again, I apologize for the glare up there. That looks so cool. Sorry about my jerky hand. Let me see if I can get some of this detail down inside the bowl. Daggum glare. Anyway, there it is, guys. Now the next step will be pouring the backsplash, which that'll be its own separate video. And then we'll do a clear coat. So far that's the process from priming to or to cleaning, to priming, to epoxying. That's how I do my sinks. Anyway, make sure you check out that new link that I'm going to have in the description area below. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.